Hi, I'm Lisa Mellin, and I am your co-host of Trapeze Talk. Today here with the legendary Tony Steele. Welcome. My question for you, Tony, is back in the day, in your time, trapeze, you had to be born into a family to be able to do the flying trapeze.
Well, yeah, all people in the circus are usually offspring of their parents who are already in the circus, right?
So how did you know that you wanted to get involved in the circus?
Well, Ringling Brothers, now that brings a tear to my eye right now because they're just closed, as you know. It's a bad time. But anyway, Ringling Brothers would come to Boston Gardens every year, then go to Madison Square Garden in New York. And that was my favorite time of year. I used to have 15 cents where I could take the trolley down to Boston Garden, and up above the train station was a big arena, and that's where Ringling played. And I loved it. And in that days it was all kinds of ropes and cords, and it was circus. Plus, there was a smell, believe it or not, a smell that is only produced in the circus. It's a combination of the elephant's poo-poo, you know, popcorn, and something else. What am I thinking of?
Peanuts?
Huh?
Peanuts?
Yeah, peanuts, popcorn, and elephant poop. And they wet down, the sawdust. And they wet down the sawdust, and it has a special aroma, the combination of these things, which is circus.
So that made you fall in love with
There's
circus?
no odor like that anywhere else except in the circus. And you come in the building, and they used to have sawdust all over. You know, the rings were one color, and the outside of the rings was another color, and they'd wet it down, and the peanuts, and it was circus. It was just, you know. But you want to know how I got started? I was fascinated with the trained animals, the bears, and the aerialist, the wire walker like Alzana, incredible, and the flying trapeze act involved. But what really, I went there with my mother and my brother, and of course I go every year, but when I was like 13, 14, something like that, every year I'd go there. And out came this beautiful woman, just gorgeous, you know. And she was Danish, and her name was La Norma. And she came out and she walked with a certain walk. Even Marilyn Monroe doesn't have that anymore, but she'd walk to the ring and she'd take off her cape, which was of some unknown material that glittered and gleamed, and she'd grab the rope and climb the rope and flirt with everybody. She had a talent of making you think that she was looking at only you, but she was flirting with everybody, you know. So anyway, she climbed the rope and did a single trapeze that was just amazing. She did heel hangs, toe hangs, one hot catch, all these things, and it was just beautiful. And the outstanding thing is that in the circus, the girls wore briefer and briefer costumes all the time, you know. And she wore a costume that was so brief, you could put it in an envelope and mail it to Chicago for 40 cents. But I respected her and admired her and loved her. I mean, I really did. I just loved her. The brief costume and the gestures and the flirting and everything like that. And out of respect for her, all I could do was go,
Now, were you already in this in the circus when you met her?
No, no.
This is part of what made you fall in love with the circus, and you made you want to keep going back for more and more.
No, she did it all by herself.
Okay.
It was just her.
So then you decided you wanted to be part of the circus. How did that happen?
Well, lived in Boston, and I read an article about an amateur circus in Gainesville, Texas. And there were such things as that. And they had pictures, and they had a barn, and they had a flying trapeze, high wire, and they had all the equipment, and it was an amateur circus. And one day I went to my mother, and I said, I'm going to go join the circus.
Just what every parent wants to hear.
What?
I said just what every parent wants to hear. I'm kidding.
Oh no, she helped me pack. She still banging your butt on the door on the way out. But I went down there to the Gainesville, took the bus down, and I stayed in the barn, and which was on the fairgrounds, and the manager there kept kicking me out, and I had to sleep somewhere, so I'd sleep in one of the barns in the fairgrounds, and there were rats running around, and so during that time, a professional circus called the Gilgray Circus came and wintered there, and they had a cookhouse, because I only had $40 when I went to Texas, Gainesville, Texas, and I asked to get on the crew, but I was trying to sell my single trapeze act. And Mr. Gray, here's some pictures. I do a single trapeze act, blah, 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 blah. And he said, that's fine. Go over there and see Shorty, and he'll tell you what to do. And I went over there, and he gave me a paintbrush, and he said, well, you start with these wheels, and then when you get done with that, I got something else you can do. And so they never took me serious as a single trapeze performer, but I had my rig up in the back, and one day there was a spot open and it needed someone, and Mr. Gray sent someone to send me to wardrobe, where they made me up a fancy suit like the jockeys wear, or silk and all this stuff. And I went out and I performed, and now I was 15, 16 years old, and as were most of the people in the audience, and I just knocked them dead, and I brought the house down. And then I went in to the office, and he said, you're not going to do any more roustabout. From now on, you're going to be a performer, and you're not going to get $20 a week. Was it a month or a week? I don't know, but from now on, you're going to get $100. And I said, no, sir, I'm going to get $300. Because I thought I had the upper hand. And I got it. And that's how I got started. And, but yeah, I remember that first performance, and the kids my age went nuts.
That's fantastic. Now that was on the single trapeze?
Single trapeze, yeah.
And how'd you get up on the pedestal board? With the flying trapeze?
Oh, you mean the flying trapeze? Oh, yeah. That's a whole other story, but Mr. Gray decided to put me in a bunch of acts, and he put me in the flying act with the flying Malcolms, the flying Malcolms. And they didn't want me up there, and they said, he can't be in our act over our dead bodies. No. But in those days, that circus was run that way. Mr. Gray says you're on the act. So they put me in, and I wasn't a flyer, so I just did the clown stuff, you know. And the first show, I lost the bar. That's the worst thing you can do on a flying act, you know. You mount the board, and you keep pushing the bar until it hits the pipes and all that stuff. And that's how I got started, and they still didn't want me in the act, but one day the prima donna of the act, a little fella named Jeep, I say little fella because he's only this big on me, and so I filled in for him, and I was forbidden to practice. But as soon as he left, boy, like Malcolm and June, they wanted to train me, and and they did, and that's about the whole story. And then I just have been with the circus ever since.
Well, that is just fantastic, and I just want to share one little thing with you.
Okay.
I've dabbled around a little in that flying trapeze thing, and my Tony Steele story is the first time I ever returned to the board, you dropped my bar perfectly. No one could have done it better. Thank you, Mr. Steele.
That was as nice as the bar that you dropped for Paula yesterday. No, I'm sorry, Paula. That was a nice bar you dropped for Lisa. Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.